You're listening to the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast, and I'm Lou Temlett. I'm guessing you're having a good day because either you've been on the mats, are considering getting on the mats, or maybe even taking your child to train. I'm so happy you're here listening or watching this episode. Please don't tap out before the end. When you want to have fun and try to win competitions, start training jiu-jitsu. I have my guest today, Emily Eyles. Hello, Emily. How are you?
Hello. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Fantastic. Better known as the Jiu Jitsu Goblin. And I believe there's a story, Emily.
Yeah, so I kind of adopted it as a nickname myself, which is a sort of lame thing to do, but it's because whenever I used to post pictures of myself online, there was a boy who would send me DMs and say I looked like a goblin, but I think goblins are kind of like chaotic, fun, and cute. So I was like, okay, I'll be a goblin.
I love it. Thank you for explaining that, because I know there's a lot of your social content where you're talking about it maybe crouching down on a podium with a medal, and I'm going, why are you crouching on a podium with a medal? And then I have to understand that that's the Goblin concept.
It's a bit of the concept, though. I think for that particular picture, it's just because we were taking a while to take all the podium photos, so I just started doing really silly poses while we were in transition, because they closed out the division, so they had to do two photos, like one with one girl in first and the other with the other girl in first, because they closed it out. So in transition, I was just doing silly poses.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So, Emily, tell me a bit about your jiu-jitsu journey, where you are now, and maybe a bit about kind of competing or trying to win competitions.
Trying to win's really hard. Winning's hard. Everyone's really good. So I'm a brown belt under Pedro Bessa, and I train in Bristol. I'm originally from Canada, so I started under Jeff Jocelyn, who is a black belt under Alliance in my hometown of Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And I've competed ever since I started. I think I started my first tournament like maybe a month and a half in, and I lost. I lost to back points. And it was really fun. I was like, this is the best thing ever. And I remember I got a default bronze, and I remember going on because someone's like, you got a medal. I think it was my boyfriend at the time. And I was so excited because I never got a medal for anything in any sport. So I was just really bad at sports growing up. And like, yeah, so that's why I can't get mad at anyone for getting excited over a default medal. I think you should be honest about it, obviously. But yeah. And then from there, I was just like, I'm a kind of an all or nothing person, so I just kind of like went for it. But it's hard to win, especially at brown belt. Everyone's really good. Like the last person I fought, Laura, she's a world champion. She's so cool. She has a really cool game.
Oh, nice. You mentioned back points. Now, I've got no idea what that means. I'm quite new to jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
I'm kind of a year in, so I want to kind of understand some of the terms that you're saying. If I don't understand them, then maybe there's someone else that doesn't get it either. So back points.
So do you know what I mean when I say like a back take?
Yes, I do.
My partner or my opponent takes my back. So if they take my back, so in any tournament, if you get a certain position, like if you pass the guard, you take mount, or even take the back, there's other examples, you get points. So you have to hold that position for 3 seconds, and the referee will go, where was it, 4 or 2 or whatever it is. So she got the points, and so I lost by points in my first ever jiu-jitsu tournament.
And it was, and that was the only points that she managed to score against you?
I think so, but this is like in like some point in 2014, so it's a little fuzzy.
So you've been training for nearly 10 years now. That's amazing.
I was just thinking the other day about, like Smooth Comp and all those bracketing softwares. You can look at your bracket and you know where you're at. I remember when I started competing, they put the brackets like on paper on the wall, and you had to go up to the wall, find your bracket, find out what time it was roughly going to be on, and what mat by looking at paper on the wall. So it's kind of amazing how even in less than 10 years, how quickly it became like so much easier.
Yes, I know. yeah, I haven't had the fortune or misfortune to be in a competition yet, but I know when I've been supporting, my children or fellow teammates, actually sometimes it'd be really handy if it was on a wall. And I know they have the big screens, but
I think the big screens and some of the tournaments are really helpful. But yeah, because some of the venues there's no like internet, so it would be nice to have it on paper too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, competition organizers, let's go back and do some fundamentals.
Yeah. Or just
okay, maybe not.
Get Wi-Fi. Get Wi-Fi.
Yes, Wi-Fi would be even better. Even better. So that sounds like one heck of a journey. Training a month and a half in as a white belt. Do you know what? I in my couple of last episodes, I was talking about competitions and supporting teammates, and really my mission for this podcast is to encourage more women to start training jiu-jitsu or maybe any other martial art, so that there are more competitors in the mix. And I know even kind of up the ranks, there are still challenges in finding competitors. I often see on people's stories where they're looking for a particular belt category and a weight bracket, and all around the UK, and I've not yet seen any around the world, but have gi will travel.
Yeah, I think there's some good initiatives for it. Like I think Female Fight Collective, which I've forgotten everyone who runs it, but they often have like not call outs, but like someone needs a match for this, and that's UK based. That's a pretty good one. Yeah,
nice. So you train with Pedro Bessa, and are there quite a lot of women that train in your school?
So for me, my difficulty is I'm not a morning person. So we have like a really lovely crowd of women, but they all mostly train in the morning. So I'm trying to change my schedule a little bit so I can train in the morning a bit more with them. Nice. They're great. Shout out to them.
Love it.
But yeah, I'm trying to like go a bit more to other places, other kind of like pro trainings. Like I'm going to one in London because there's more women there, so and lighter people.
Yes, it's finding the right category. I'm now kind of in the Masters 4 and super heavy, so I'm feeling like so there's I'm kind of struggling with categories, and I was joking with a fellow jiu-jitsu lady, and maybe I just need to change bout or lose 30 kilos or something, but then even then apparently there's still a challenge in terms of competitors. We'll get there one day.
I think one day, because we time marches on, we're all getting older. But yeah, I think Masters 4 is, I mean, I didn't think you were Masters 4 at all, just to throw that out there. But
thank you, I'll take that.
I think even the higher Masters categories, I know like a friend of mine, Caro Hunter, she was struggling, and she's a brown belt now, but I think she's doing Masters 2, and she was struggling to get opponents. So I think, especially in Europe. In America, it seems like a lot more women compete Masters.
Yes, I've connected with BJJ Betty, who started doing self-defense when she was kind of in her late 50s, and she's kind of in her 60s now, and Master 7 and black belt professor. So I'm really inspired. Yes,
she's so cool. She's number one. Yeah.
But okay, just to clear up, if anyone's listening to this and they don't understand the concept of Masters, I was having a chat with someone in the school playground the other day. Masters doesn't mean you're any better. It just means you're older. Just to clear that one up.
And the categories are, the categories are every 5 years. And you can always compete at a younger age, but I couldn't compete at Masters 4, so because I'm not quite there yet.
That's right. Emily, I'm going to, deny you the access rights to Masters 4 so I don't get completely beaten up.
I mean, it's a different belt level. But we can still train.
Training's good. Sorry, I'm being completely respectful. But there's still an element of fear. I'm getting over those challenges of training and worrying that I'm going to be choked out or armbarred and not be able to drive the kids home and things like that. But you know, it's all our responsibility, isn't it? So I think that's kind of part of the thing as well.
I think getting used to training, getting used to tapping and all the positions just takes time. I think also like this maybe not be like necessarily like female specific, but I think like men can feel this too. But I think taking up space, I see it more with the female students, but like the male students, some of them are also have this, or maybe it just manifests differently. But like that feeling of being able to take up space in the practice room or in the gym or the dojo, whatever you want to call it, like everyone can take up space in the room. Like just because I'm a brown belt and I've been training longer doesn't mean I deserve the space more than anyone else. Like deserve doesn't really come into it, but I think being able to take up space can give you that confidence as well.
Yeah, I think that's you know, that's kind of wise from that perspective. As you're kind of offering out some tips, how would you any tips for anyone training kind of at a, you know, any level, some kind of overall advice or you know, verbal coaching that might really help someone?
I guess there's a couple things I would think of. One of them is don't get bogged down in doing too many things at once. So a lot of the time I'm focusing on like one thing and aspects of that thing. So right now I'm training, there's a white belt, he's pretty cool. He's about my weight, so I train with him a lot because he's a uni student. He has loads of time, or like loads of time. He's probably putting on a bit of coursework. But so right now all I'm doing is focusing on pulling De La Hiva, and that's all I will do. I'll train that for like an hour.
Yeah.
And then when I'm sparring, I'm just trying to get to that position. So like just doing one thing, or I mean, obviously there's lots of things, and obviously Pedro is going to be teaching other stuff, but I try to make my focus one or two things over. It's like obviously if you've been only training a year, it's hard to say like over the period of a month or two, but you could say even a year or two. Like I was working on this guard pass for about 2 years. Things come and go though. Like I started to do stuff I was doing as a white belt, and I'm doing it again now, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Why did I stop doing this?
I think you know that's also the worry that competing. I was like, well, I'm a white belt. What do I know? But I guess, you know, you cover fundamentals, but then you just, you know, each rank. I'm assuming that you just you know, learn more, become more accomplished at a particular move. I was picked up the other day with regards to moves and positions. Do you call them moves, or are they? I just want to have that conversation because I'm a dancer by kind of heritage.
That's so cool.
So for me, with the core balance and the position, so you know, kind of having a low kind of combat base. I've done my fair share of army training in the past, but that's another story. But there's, you know, having the kind of dance foundation and core strength really helps balance. So for me, it's always about moves. You know.
I think the way I would see it, though this might not be how everyone sees it, is like you have positions, and to me, like that's kind of like something where a set of moves can come from.
Yeah.
So like it's almost not like I guess it's almost like a hierarchy. It probably is kind of a hierarchy to me. Whereas like you have moves within positions.
No, I like it. We're all right. Yeah. We're all correct. I like that. So
I think with physical stuff or any understanding anything, but like physical things particularly, like people have different ways of perceiving and seeing the world, which sounds really traumatic. Yeah. But like they're gonna maybe see that differently, but their understanding or execution of those things is still gonna be like just as good, just different.
Yeah. No, I like it. It's for me, I'm just trying to gain, you know, blocks of information, building my knowledge, and very much, you know, this podcast is about my learning as much as anybody else's. So I kind of get that, you know, maybe you're in kind of guard position, you know, someone in your guard, and then there are different moves that you can then do on that. I get it. When you said kind of that pyramid structure, I'm going, oh, I can design that and I can draw it.
Like a web, like almost like a web, a 3D kind of web. Because like you can go in so many different directions because it's not just you deciding what happens.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I'm gonna go away and do a little infographic tonight, I think.
Yay. Positions, moves, techniques. I think techniques and moves, I would say, are the same thing.
Yeah.
in my estimation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then half the time when I'm, doing different moves, there'll be one little part of that kind of sequence that I've not quite remembered. And, if you put your foot somewhere or your arm not quite in the right place, then you're going to, allow the arm bar kind of thing in.
Yeah.
So for me, it's kind of tight and low.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's okay to like not remember every detail. I think it builds up over time, like it accumulates, and then like when I'm teaching stuff, I try to show as many details as possible, or like try to emphasize like the critical detail that makes it work. And then there's other details that just make it easier or work better. But there's always just like one or two that make it work, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get it.
So,
Fantastic. So this is the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast, and I'm Lou Temlett coming to you from the UK. When you're ready to pick up a Jiu Jitsu Lou patch, head over to jujitsulou.com/shop. Today, I'm having a little chat with Emily Eyles about everything Jiu Jitsu and competitions. So, Emily, you've taken part in a number of competitions since your very early days. A lot. Have you got a count? How many competitions you've actually taken part in?
I think I looked at my IBJJF account the other day, and I've done maybe 40 something. And I don't even want to think about how much money that represents. And then I've done a bunch of local ones and a bunch of AJPs and grappling industry. So maybe 100 or more. I don't know.
Wow.
Like before COVID, I was doing like 15 to 20 a year. And then I did 18 last year, maybe, or
wow.
So I did a lot. I've done a lot of tournaments.
I love it. And is that just wanting to compete and be in that space, or what's the drive?
I just really like it. I don't know. I want to win, and I'm not great at winning yet. I'm a slow starter. But I really enjoy it. I enjoy the atmosphere. I enjoy like stepping onto the mat. It just feels like stepping into a different world almost. I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah. I imagine what it might be like, and I can kind of feel the nerves. Do you still get nervous when you step on the mats to compete?
I think like I get that. Like I don't feel nervous or anxious. Like I don't struggle to like do stuff a lot of the time. If I decide I'm doing it, it's happening.
Yeah.
Not winning, obviously, because that's contingent on stuff. Your opponent is usually really good. But like I guess you get that kind of like increased heart rate, kind of that sort of anxiety because you're gonna fight someone.
Yes.
I don't know why I had to whisper that. Sorry, sound person. You're gonna fight someone, so like you do have that kind of nerves, but I don't feel nervous about like going and doing jiu-jitsu or like the actual competing part. I think it's just a natural like body thing, and I think you have to kind of, instead of trying to push that sort of feeling away, you kind of have to accept it, kind of like go through it, and then just like fight.
Yeah.
Like I think if you try to like push it down or to get rid of it, like you're just gonna feel more anxious.
Yeah. Do you have a routine? When I've gone to competitions and supported teammates, some of them are in the zone and speak to no one and have no, complete tunnel vision. Some of them are kind of quite chilled, and, some are feeling quite quiet. Is there a kind of routine that you have?
I'm pretty chilled until I'm not chilled. And then I go to the bullpen and then I like jump a bunch and then hit myself in the face, which is really tragic because I was hoping everyone has like a thing, right? And I'm a really chill person. I mean, I can be really competitive as well, but like I'm really, really silly and chill. And then I'm thinking my thing's just gonna be like, like listening to music or like just chilling out. And no, my thing is like jumping up and down and slapping myself in the face. And I was like, darn, I'm that person. Because like when you do it, you get into it. And then like if you win, like it's fine, but like you're a bit intense. And if you lose, you just look like kind of
okay.
You look a bit ridiculous. You're like, and then you just lose.
But I guess no
Tragic.
one's really watching you necessarily in the bullpen before you.
No, everyone kind of is doing their own slightly mental thing, and that's totally cool. And I think that's what's fun about jiu-jitsu is everyone approaches it a bit different. But
yeah,
I do wish I wasn't the face slap person because it's just so intense. Like at the time, it's great at the time. It's just like you think about it, you're like,
yeah.
oh, gosh.
Isn't this whole thing actually not to think at all? You just have to do it, and that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like if I do it, I feel more focused.
Yeah.
But yeah, I only started doing it maybe this year. I didn't do it. I think I started doing it at Worlds. I don't even know why. This Worlds, I just decided I was going to hit myself in the face, and it just really did it for me.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So where was Worlds? Because that was this year, 2023, and I do know that you have a medal.
I do. I brought something to show you guys.
Love it.
So I have a Worlds medal with me. This is a official World Jiu-Jitsu medal.
Wow.
To disappoint everybody, I didn't win my match. What happened was I did a weight class. I was really pretty well seated, so I was into the quarterfinals from the beginning because it's not a huge category. And then the girl just didn't show up, and it happens every Worlds for me. The first person never comes, so I have to wait forever for them to just decide they're not coming and disqualify them.
Oh, wow.
So, and then I got mauled by this enormous woman she's so nice. She's really nice, but she did maul me a little bit. It's like I tried to get up and she was just like, absolutely not. It was really fun. Every year the Gi Worlds happens in Long Beach, California, in the Pyramid, which is this blue glass pyramid, and it's an American university sports thing, but it's like because university sports in America is super intense. It's just this enormous pyramid-shaped thing, and then the seats all go down into the center where the mats are. It's like a super cool atmosphere. It's incredible.
Goodness.
That's why I like doing the Worlds, this stuff.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. And are you lining up to compete at the Worlds next year? Is that in the bag already?
Yeah, I was gonna do the Worlds no gi, but I decided I actually just want to focus on my goals in the gi.
Yeah.
So I'm not really, unless I have an opportunity to that it's easy to do it, I won't really be competing no gi for the next 6 months, 8 months.
Nice. I like that. And will you kind of connect with a lot of the other kind of jiu-jitsu people? Are you meeting up with friends and kind of fellow teammates out there?
I'll go to San Diego where I have a lot of friends, and I've got a place to stay there, so I can train with basically who I call him Pedro. His name is Eduardo Teles. He's like one of my jiu-jitsu dads. My other jiu-jitsu dad is obviously Pedro. And yeah, Eduardo's amazing. He has a really cool game. He's like famous for having like really weird jiu-jitsu. He's also like probably, I don't want to like oversell it, but I think he's probably one of the nicest people in jiu-jitsu. Like I've never heard or seen anyone say anything bad about him. He's great. He's always done really nice things for me. So he looks after me when I'm there. That's why I said he's like kind of like my other jiu-jitsu dad.
Love it.
Yeah.
So what time of the year does the World Gi competition happen?
Yeah, so the IBJJF Worlds, which is like the famous one, like the biggest, most prestigious gi tournament, happens like end of May, early June. So sometimes it'll start depending on like how the calendar is. It might start on like the 31st of June. It might May, sorry, and then or the 1st of June. Like it runs through that week basically. There is like the Abu Dhabi, like the AJP Worlds, like the World Pro, which is happening right now. So the black belts and brown belts will fight this weekend. This next week, or is it next weekend? I think it might be next weekend.
Yeah.
It's a really long one because it has like kids and then white belts and blue belts and juveniles. So yeah, and that's in Abu Dhabi. But I would say it's like a good tournament and the level's really high, but it's less like I would rather win the one in California. I'm sorry. But it's still it's a really tough tournament. Like it's a really like good achievement. I just think it's just the classic, you know. The IBJJF Worlds is the classic.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Right, I'm gonna have to put that on my bucket list now. for some
Yeah.
point before whenever. I don't know.
Yeah,
I need to
even
think
go to
about that one.
watch. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully coincides with the children's half term, so it's possible. It's possible.
It might do. It might do. And California's amazing. Like, it's so cool.
Yes. I'm sure I've got friends that will be listening that may be, residing in California. We might be able to just go and visit.
crossed.
So, yeah,
let's hope.
exactly. Oh, fantastic. Emily, you've given us a couple of tips for training jiu-jitsu or, competing. Do you have, I will recall them at some point. Do you have any other advice for people wanting to train jiu-jitsu, maybe haven't ever experienced jiu-jitsu before, or those that have been in the game a long time?
Okay, so I guess for new people, I'd say try out like more than one place. Like, if you don't like feel the vibe when you first go there, it might be like that place just isn't for you. It doesn't mean it's like a bad place. It's just like different strokes for different folks.
Yep.
That's my advice for new people, and like just kind of keep at it. Like, it's hard to begin with sometimes because you don't know anything, but you'll get there faster than you think.
Yeah.
For more experienced people, I'd say don't stress out too much. It's not that deep. It's just fun. Like,
yeah,
at the end of the day, we're all, people on a little rock flying through space. So like,
yes, exactly. The perspective.
Life's really short. So, try to do the stuff that you want to do and don't stress about things. Yeah. That's what I wish I stressed less when I was competing, like at blue and purple belt. And now I'm just like, do things for yourself and kind of try to make a plan for what you want to do, which is what I've done like this last year, and I felt so much better.
Oh, that's really nice. Thank you for those tips. I really appreciate that. And thank you for your time. I know we've kind of been trying to kind of set this up. Please feel free to keep in touch. I know we will. I'll be following your journey. I'm still, training open mat on a Sunday and a couple of times during the week. And obviously the kids are still training and enjoying it. And for us, it's about having fun as a family. And then, when we get in discussions at home, they go, well, I know jiu-jitsu. And then I go, I know jiu-jitsu too.
Yeah, I think that's what's really great about jiu-jitsu. Like, I think people say it's for everyone, and I think that's kind of true. But I would say it's more like it's for anyone. So like, not everyone's going to like it, but anyone can enjoy jiu-jitsu. And that's why I think it's such a good sport. And also, just to say one last thing for everyone, if everyone wants to come train in Bristol with us, we're at Sweatbox Gym. So everyone's welcome to come. Doesn't matter what team you're with. Doesn't matter if you have a Gracie Ball gi, a Hodja Gracie gi, like a purple gi, a pink gi, green, like whatever. As long as it's clean, come on down. You can train with us. Like, everyone's welcome to come visit. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Emily. I will put all of this information in the show notes so you won't miss a thing. Anyway, thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Catch you again soon.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please do tell your friends about this show. And I'd really appreciate you to subscribe on whichever platform you listen on or watch. And why not leave a review? Thanks again for listening. Catch you on the next episode of Jiu Jitsu Podcast.